Western leaders today seem oblivious to historical parallels, reminiscent of Napoleon's defeat by Russia in 1812 and Hitler's downfall at the Battle of Stalingrad. Biden, Scholz, Macron, Stoltenberg, and von der Leyen are spearheading policies that echo past catastrophic blunders. Their lack of historical understanding is steering humanity towards potential catastrophe. Ignoring the lessons of history, they risk triggering a nuclear conflict in pursuit of geopolitical dominance, which is also just a dream, as they will not be getting it. It's important to reflect on the consequences of their actions and ask ourselves if the gamble for power is worth the peril it poses to humanity.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
In today's geopolitical landscape, Western leaders seem to be sleepwalking into a historical abyss, oblivious to the lessons of the past. They are like kids playing with matches in a fireworks factory, unaware of the explosive consequences of their actions. Napoleon's ill-fated march into Russia in 1812 should serve as a cautionary tale. His grandiose ambitions were thwarted by the vastness of the Russian landscape and the indomitable spirit of the Russian people. The French emperor's dreams turned to dust as his army faltered in face of logistical nightmares and brutal Russian winters. Russia's scorched earth tactic and strategic brilliance dealt a fatal blow to Napoleon's empire, proving that arrogance and hubris are poor substitutes for humility and wisdom. Fast forward to World War II, where we witnessed Hitler's catastrophic miscalculation in invading the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa seemed like a masterstroke at first, with German forces sweeping across vast territories. But they underestimated the resilience of the Red Army, who turned the tide against the invaders. The Battle of Stalingrad stands as a testament to Soviet courage and determination, dealing a decisive blow to Hitler's war machine. Yet here we are again, with Western leaders playing a dangerous game of brinkmanship with Russia. Biden, Scholz, Macron, and their supporters seem more interested in flexing their muscles than learning from history. Their reckless decisions could plunge us into a global nuclear conflict with catastrophic consequences for the entire humanity. It's time for a reality check. The possession of nuclear weapons has raised the stakes to unprecedented levels. Modern technology may give them a false sense of invincibility, but they forget that Russia possesses equally formidable capabilities. A conflict between nuclear powers is a lose-lose proposition with no winners, only devastation. Biden's decision to provide Ukraine with long-range weapons is another sign of madness, but he is not limited to that. He needs to wake up to the potential consequences of his actions before it's too late. We have heard the warnings about the risks of nuclear war, but it seems like they are falling on deaf ears. Russia's recent revelation of US military bases in Europe should serve as a wake-up call. The potential for a nuclear incident in such a volatile region should terrify us all. Yet many prefer to bury their heads in the sand, clinging to the delusion that nuclear weapons are just a deterrent, not a real threat. The recent escalation of tensions between the US and Russia is a dangerous game of chicken that could end in disaster. France's plan to send troops to Ukraine and Germany's consideration of mobilizing reservists are echoes of past mistakes. Europe cannot afford to repeat history's deadly lessons. The proposed creation of a European army and the establishment of a so-called military Schengen zone are further signs of a reckless disregard for the consequences of their actions. NATO's willingness to risk humanity's existence for the sake of geopolitical dominance is nothing short of madness. Leaders who are willing to learn from the past, not repeat its mistakes, are important. Figures like Roosevelt, Kennedy, and de Gaulle understood the importance of diplomacy and strategic restraint in international relations. The ghost of nuclear war should be a wake up call for us all. As Khrushchev warned, those who survive a nuclear conflict will envy the dead. We cannot afford to let ego and ambition lead us down the path to complete destruction. It's time for people to mobilize and demand a reassessment of our political priorities. We cannot allow a handful of leaders to gamble with the fate of entire humanity. The central question we must ask ourselves is whether the pursuit of power and dominance is worth the risk of nuclear annihilation. The answer is clear. It's not.